new day, and it would be a new verse. I know it's a new week and kind of missed last week. I want to apologize for that. My tech kind of went belly up while I was editing the teaching on the temptation of Christ. And it seems that in my life I either post about it or get the experience it. So today we're going to talk about just the first of the three temptations of Christ. And after Jesus' baptism, he goes into the desert for 40 days and 40 nights, no food. Many people believe it represents the 40 years in the desert, the people of Israel, basically getting the option to relive that difficulty, that trying season. And, I can definitely see it, especially since the Exodus is, God will take care of it. All you have to do is shut your mouths and trust him. And, it's something that is a difficult thing to do, especially in seasons where things aren't going the way we want them to, when we're dealing with struggles. It's really easy and really tempting to just start screaming at the top of our lungs about how much everything sucks and stay in a mindset of, well, everything sucks, so I give up. What we don't tend to do is take the Lamentations arc, where we can say, God, this is difficult. God, this moment sucks. I need you to make it better. The end of Lamentations, though, turns to a place of praise. That even though the fruits aren't, the fields don't bear their fruit and their wheat, even though the rain may not come, I shall rejoice in the Lord always. And I think it is the focus shift that is important for the believer. To go from saying, God, this sucks, to saying, yes, God, this sucks, but you're God of greater. You're God of the mountain and God of the valley. You're God of the storm. You're God of the struggle. You're the God who sees to it. You're Jireh. You will see me through it. So even though the situation may suck, God's got it. So all we have to really do is trust. Hear him. Move. And even that may just start with living in love. Instead of calling somebody an idiot when they're being one, take a moment, say, okay, that behavior is annoying. But why are they doing it? Try and empathize with them. Try and offer them love. Because the Lord's Prayer says, forgive us our trespasses and we forgive others. Well, if we're not forgiving others, then we ourselves will not be forgiven. That's the word. And, I'm like, well, how does this fit to the first temptation of the turn this into bread? Because it's the shortcut route. Turn these stones into bread. You can do it. Yeah, but it's a shortcut. God feeds us, not bread. There are people, scientific abnormalities in this world, as they might be seen, for people who don't need to eat and haven't eaten in years, or people that haven't slept in years, or people that haven't had water in years. People who prove that what we think are necessities to living maybe aren't. But that temptation, the temptation to take the easy way out, the shortcut route, it's one that we do now. It's just easier to condemn a person and say, well, they're hopeless, than try. Well, they could never understand God's love. Do you then? If that's the question that you have to ask, do you understand it? Do any of us? It is an unfathomable, merciful love. And the shortcut to life isn't cheating. It's playing by a different set of rules. It's playing by his rules. Because the word says, and history has shown, the world is dog eat dog. And when the very first temptation of Christ is, here, you're hungry, take a shortcut. When we live in a world that says, here, you're facing difficulties, take a shortcut. Here, you're dealing with it, take a shortcut, take a shortcut. Don't try. Well, that's something we all face. Because the truth of it is, these three temptations that Christ went through, we go through variations of them every day ourselves. And it's what I'm going to be doing today, tomorrow, and probably Sunday. I don't know, we'll play it by time. But definitely Monday, actually. to talk about these temptations, to talk about these difficulties. Because let's say we had the power to turn bread into food. What do we do with it? Because just because we have the power to do something doesn't mean we have the wisdom to do it. Doesn't mean we have the reasoning to do it. I can call down fire. Cool. Do you know when and how and why? Without those bit of information, with the wisdom, the power really just causes more issues. And we do actually see a place in the Word where Jesus goes more than turning stones into loaves of bread. They come out of nothingness when he feeds the 5,000. When he feeds, 7,000 or 10,000. When he feeds these different groups with seemingly no food at all, we get to see the kind of miracle that the devil wanted Jesus to perform as a magic trick. And there's a difference. Study, dig in with me. Dig in with the idea that God can easily turn bread or stones into loaves of bread. But instead of doing it to prove that he was God, he did it to help others and proved himself God. It's the wisdom of the heart, the behavior, the life. Him dwelling in us as we welcome him in, as he takes up residency in us. So as you face temptations today, when you face the difficulties, I ask this. Temper them with reason. And if you're in a state where emotion can't be tempered with reason, go back to the Word. Measure circumstance by truth. Because the circumstance for Jesus during that first temptation was he was hungry. The truth, man lives on more than bread alone, but by the word of God. That comes from his very breath of God. That's the difference. Situation versus truth. That's the difficulty. But it's also the beauty and the opportunity to grow. So give it a shot. And know that though you face temptations, the God who won the race, Jesus, who won, beat, finished, completed this race, is already ahead of us, finished at the right hand of God, seated in heavenly places, cheering us on. That gives me hope, and I hope it does you too. God bless, and I'll see you guys tomorrow for the second temptation of Christ, when we dig into the idea of high places and tempting. See you then.